You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily represent those of the network, its advertisers, owners, or sponsors.
Hey, there you go. There's the music. That means it is time for Animal Talk. We're here to help you with your pets and have some fun along the way. Like the guy sitting across from me, one of the best doggone pet people on the planet.
Hey, Jamie, I'm Brian Donovan. Nice to meet you.
One of these days. I'm Jamie Flanagan, just making sure everybody has a good time. And we got a guest with us in studio, just hanging out and getting in trouble with us.
Always. My name is Matthew Fox, Matt Fox, whatever you want to call me.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
And some other guests lined up for today as well on the show. We have coming up, it's all about talking to the animals today.
Yes, and actually having the animals talk back to you.
Yeah.
We have Michelle Winowich, who was recently on Shark Tank with a new pet product. We're going to talk to her about that.
Yes, and we also have Frances Greenspan, animal communicator.
I am so looking forward to talking to this young lady.
Yes, and she can communicate with pets that are here now and that have crossed over and beyond.
I've got lots of questions.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie, we talked to her years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, she's been on the show before. She's a friend of the show. It's like, Animal Talk's been in existence for a bazillion years. I don't even know. It was, do you remember when? Because you guys started before I was joined the party.
I imagine we talked to her 15 years ago at least.
At least.
Wow.
Yes. The show's been on for 20 plus, right?
I barely had my adult teeth.
So we've been doing these shenanigans for quite some time. And so talking to the animals today, that's the point. But we get to your email questions. We do some of those, and then we tell some jokes. And we're gonna get with Michelle as soon as and Frances as soon as they get to calling in with us. But Brian, I'm gonna test your skills ahead of time. We're gonna get you all set and make you answer some email questions.
Oh, okay. You're testing my skills?
I am.
When will you learn to stop testing me?
Never. All right, so it's a little email question here for you. It goes a little something like this. Dear Animal Talk.
You got mail, baby, yeah.
And I got a 5-month-old dachshund mix. It's a rescue puppy. She digs in her water bowl, which makes a huge mess. Is there a bowl that will not make such a big mess? I have 2 other little rescue dogs, and they would benefit them as well.
Yeah, actually, there's there's a whole science to feeding and watering dishes.
Right.
You know, some dogs that eat too fast. For example, there's the dog bowls that have they're almost like stalagmites on the bottom of the bowl, where the food gets in between, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for the dog to get to it, and it slows the dog down. Now, as far as watering, a lot of times if you just get a higher bowl, a little bit taller bowl, the dog will be discouraged from putting his feet in it. And if it's a dachshund mix, my guess is
The legs are pretty short.
Legs are pretty short.
Yeah,
that's my guess. So that's what I would do, is maybe elevate the bowl. In fact, they have elevated feeders now for dogs, and they come in all sorts of flavors and styles to go with the decor of your home.
So is that a common behavior to end up with a little puppy beach party going on there?
Yeah. And in the summertime, maybe get a kid's pool, put it out in the back patio in the backyard or something, let the dog go crazy.
All right. Good call. All right. So here's another email question. Puppy scams, because the interweb is such a thing. And this woman, Norman the Mormon.
Norman?
Are they in Utah?
Norman the Mormon was scammed out of $1,000 on a bulldog puppy scam back in 2006. My first wife and I were separated, and my 15-year-old daughter's lab just passed away. So I let emotions get the best of me and the best of my common sense. And I remarried in 2007. No, I don't. I don't know. That wasn't the best of his common sense. But my now wife and I have an unbelievably cool little dog. We live in a rural area in Georgia, and the dog just came out of the woods one day, looked at us, and decided she was going to live with us. cleaned her up, got her cured of heartworms, and fenced in an area. And so that's our new dog. The wife named her Tikla, which means ugly girl in her native language.
Wait a minute. Where's the scam?
Yeah, I don't know.
Scam?
We're getting to it.
Okay.
Lately, my wife has been thinking about a playmate for Tikla. I guess the scam happened back, several years back in 2006. But the wife wants a playmate for Tikla and wants a teacup Maltese or a Pomeranian pup, right? And she found some incredibly cute Maltese pups at a ridiculously low price on the line. So he visited the website, and it was deja vu all over again. The website was an obviously scam. I'm not going to say the name of the website, but they claim to be selling these 6 adorable Maltese pups for $500 or 2 for $800. Buy 2 for is it like Mr. Allen's for dogs?
2 for $5 or 3 for
$500 or 2 for $800. What is it? So with free shipping. The site's been up for 25 days and has the same 6 pups for sale. For at least 2 weeks. Scam Advisor agrees that it's probably a fake site. So
it's a big problem.
how do you report a scammer? Where do you report it to? And how do you protect yourself when you're trying to buy? Because that's a designer dog, right?
Right, yeah.
And so you're not going to find it at every pound. You're not going to find it at every rescue. You're probably going to have to go online and find it. So how do you protect yourself from getting scammed?
You know what it is, Jamie? It's all about research,
Yeah.
and getting testimonials or some sort of informal background check. Talk to customers, talk to
Right.
people who have purchased a puppy from the breeder. There's nothing foolproof. In fact, I just recently I sold a car in one of the more prominent car trader kind of a
Sure.
online sites, and it wasn't long before I started getting calls from people who wanted to know information about the car. They wanted to know the VIN number.
Of course.
Well, because we want to run the
Want to blow the blue book.
The thing is, they also they want to know information that would allow them to, because they already have the picture of the car.
Carfax.
Right.
They want to be able to put their own listing up and maybe get a down payment from somebody online.
Sure.
There's all sorts of scams out there.
Good Lord.
That's a Nigerian scam that's out there.
There's all kinds of yeah. So I would recommend that there's so much information. Always, you want to talk to satisfied customers. Whether you're buying, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you name it. You want to see what they're, rating. Sellers of anything is kind of like a common practice now. So they should expect it. A breeder should expect for somebody to say, "Hey, I'd like to talk to somebody who purchased a puppy from you and see what their experience was." And you shouldn't be afraid to ask for that sort of stuff.
So now there was a good son of a gun. There was a good site, Pet Finder, right?
Yeah.
They have, and you can find any kind of dog there. I mean, it may not be in your backyard, but you can find just about any breed you're looking for.
Petfinder.com. Also at petkey.org. PETKEY.org. Yep.
Petkey.org, yeah.
All the breeders there have been checked out, and so you're not going to get any kind of a scam there. But yeah, the internet's a big place, and puppies are very cute. And unfortunately, oftentimes it's an impulse buy.
Ew.
And these puppies are going quick. Give me a deposit. Send me, give me a credit card number, and it gets people all the time. So, park your emotions for a second.
Yeah.
Right, and get some background on the breeder.
So there you go. So Craigslist is full of backyard breeders. People a lot of times use the Craigslist to connect anything cats, dogs, purebred mutts, and they're all like $500 and more. We think this person sending in an email, they're perplexed by how many dogs are for sale on Craigslist at such an inflated rate of over $500. This person thought there was a huge Flamo thought there was a huge need for homes for animals, like they would be given them away or just for cover the basic vet visits. Is there a way to should you steer clear of this person wants to know, should they steer clear of Craigslist pets?
Generally, man, I'll tell you what, if my reputation was at stake and I was selling something, just because it has such a bad reputation and so much room for fraud, I'd stay off of Craigslist.
Really?
I mean, somebody who, if you're looking for a purebred or a designer breed dog, the person who's breeding those dogs should think enough of their breeding program to, I don't know, create a website, put a little history and a little bit of background on the kennel and their breeding stock, and again, satisfied customers who have purchased puppies. So, no, I wouldn't do that. I want to see that this is a viable operation.
Right.
Even if it's a small kennel, just somebody who's doing a couple litters a year, maybe one every 5 years, they should still have plenty of information to inform people, educate them, and kind of be a resource rather than just, hey, free puppies or puppies for $5.
It does seem a little crazy, a little dangerous to go that route.
Just do your due diligence.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's no excuse anymore, right? Yeah. I mean, you can, in 15 minutes, you can find, maybe it's just because I was single for a while. And,
sure.
And when you swipe right on Tinder, the first thing you do is a background check, right? It's really easy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not to draw a parallel to the women I was dating and then puppies for sale. I mean, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
They all had
right
wet noses. That was
next.
Pet Key is a sponsor, and they're such a I didn't know they had a resource about breeders.
Yeah, Pet Key is all about education and services for specifically the new pet owner, the new puppy owner. So it's education.
Okay.
It's resources. It's microchipping. It's lost pet prevention, lost pet recovery sites. So there's it's all about responsible pet ownership and being kind of an advocate for the pet.
All right. So that's and then part of that branch is the Help Me Find My Pet.
I love the new sounder, the door slamming.
The door slam sounder. That's cool. Yeah, that's
pretty cool. Is that coming over the microphones?
Probably is. Speaking of coming over the microphones, Matt, could you go to podcastdetroit.com and listen to it and see if we're overmodulating?
Yep, I'll be right back.
I got this distinct feeling that we might be hot mic.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
what does that sound like? Like we've had too much caffeine or something?
I think so. I think it's all buzzy and fuzzy, and because we do have on the way a couple of interesting guests. So we have some gluten-free.
We have gluten-free guests.
Gluten-free guests.
Wow.
Gluten-free dog treats.
Okay.
From Goat Pet Products, and Michelle Winowich, she just took it all. Well, you don't really take it all on Shark Tank, but she made a deal on the Shark Tank. And but that's not the product that she got the deal for. She got the deal for these interesting little pet speakers.
It sounds like it's a lot of fun. This product that she, I don't know if she invented it. I'm assuming she's the inventor.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna get around. There's so much of the back. There's so many things to talk to her about. The backstory of the show, the production of it,
right?
And then her products and where they derive from and everything too. Yeah. So pretty excited about talking to her coming up at the half hour, and between now and then, we're going to talk to the animals. We're going to tune in psychically. We're going to launch into their brains and into the psychic world with Frances Greenspan. She's a friend of the show, and we're going to connect with her as soon as she gets in there with us, which will be happening very, very shortly. Brian, you don't have pets in your life right now.
For the first time in my life.
Yeah, really? You are petless. Yeah. You had the cat, and you rehomed the cat, and I was angry. What was his name again?
My latest cat?
Your daughter's cat. Yeah, you had your daughter's cat, right?
It wasn't that long ago.
Hey, look at you, Saved by the Bell, because we got a call coming in.
Maybe Frances can help me.
Yeah, we're not overmodulated in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, fair play. Right on. Oh, Animal Talk, helping you with your pets, having some fun along the way, and on the phone.
Hamish. What's the cat's name?
Hamish is not on the phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think on the phone is Frances Greenspan. Frances, welcome to Animal Talk.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks for joining us. And Frances Greenspan is an animal communicator. She's an animal psychic. She's an author. She has 3 books on the subject. And she's just a whiz online. So, Frances, thanks so much for joining us. And we just wanted to dive right into it. You have your books there. What do your pets want you to know? And the other book is More Messages Your Pets Want You to Know. And then Learn to Speak with the Animals. And you also hold workshops and do home visits. And we really appreciate you joining us tonight. So there is the question, Frances. What do our pets want us to know?
Oh, so many things. I would say the majority of the things are common sense that think in a child's attitude. A child just wants love and food and care, and they want to please us. So they are concerned when we maybe want to bring in another pet. Why do you want to bring in another pet? Why am I not good enough? There's different things that come to them that we take for granted as, oh, well, you just want a companion or you just want a little brother or whatever. But they may have specific, what type of animal do they want? Sometimes they want one that looks like them. If it's a dog, sometimes they want a cat and vice versa.
All right.
So, Frances, Frances, let me ask you, I'm sorry, but from a behavior standpoint, I have my own way of handling, behavior problems with dogs. But from your perspective, what's the biggest cause of behavior problems, specifically in dogs? You said there's many things that the dogs and cats want us to know, but what is the biggest source of pet behavior problems when it comes to their thoughts and that miscommunication that sometimes we have with our pets?
Well, considering all the rescues that are out there, and you may not have a pet from birth to death. You may have adopted one who's been through some experiences, and they will bring those experiences with them. It's not that they hold grudges, but they do have memory of being abused, being neglected, being abandoned. And so I find with the rescue animals, when I'm able to speak with them and assure them this is their forever home, there's a tension that relaxes. They have an opening of the heart where they may have been withholding from their owner because they were afraid to bond, because this may just be a shot to the next place they have to go.
Well, I'm sure everyone is thinking, well, how do you communicate that to the dog? What is your big secret? Is there something that you can share with us that is like a universal for most dogs that maybe pet owners aren't really aware of?
Well, animals communicate telepathically, meaning in my thinking voice, I'm speaking to them and receiving what they have to say in their thinking voice. So I don't speak dog or cat, but it's translated in a way that I understand. And when I speak to them, it's translated in a way they understand. And language is no barrier. Even if I'm speaking to an animal who's in Japan, I don't speak Japanese, but I can communicate just fine. In the telepathic world, the concepts get translated and the words get translated as I need to hear them. Sometimes they show pictures. Sometimes they show emotions. It depends on each animal. They're very different.
Well, we have there's a friend of mine who runs a bulldog rescue. She has a very interesting dog that she wanted you to maybe do a reading. We couldn't have her here tonight, but can you do it over the phone like that? Can you?
Oh, absolutely. I do readings over the phone all the time.
Okay.
So can you tell me the name of the dog?
Well, no, I'd rather the dog owner come here and
she would love to talk to you.
Yeah, she was so interested in meeting you.
But Matt is here,
Yeah.
and
Hi, Frances.
we do another podcast called the Man Cave Happy Hour. Matt's part of those shenanigans,
Yes.
and he hangs out here from time to time as well. And Matt has a couple critters in his life, and he's had a few couple critters that have moved on.
Yes.
Okay.
I had a black lab by the name of Fudge, and actually had 2 black labs in my lifetime that have passed on. And the second Fudge in my life, she was the dog that's in your senior pictures when you're growing up, and you get a picture with your dog in your senior picture. She was an absolutely amazing dog, and her stomach turned over. That movie Marley and Me,
Yeah.
that absolutely killed me. But when Fudge was going through all of her issues and her stomach was turning over, how could I have really connected with her on an unconscious level, I should say, to understand what she was going through? How would you perceive that?
Okay. Whatever situation, I do it telepathically. So whether they're here or they've crossed over,
Yes.
I speak with them.
Oh, okay. So were both of your dogs named Fudge?
Yes, both of them were named Fudge. Yes,
Fudge.
Fudge 1 and Fudge 2.
Oh my gosh! So, Francis, are you able to? Can you get in tune with Matthew's little picture buddy Fudge?
Absolutely. You say Fudge is a black lab, correct?
Correct.
And female or male?
Both female. Yes, female.
Okay. Okay. So do you have a specific question for Fudge?
How are you doing? I'm curious. How have you been?
Okay. Now, you're not going to hear anything when I tune in. It's not real good for radio,
That's
but
okay.
hold on.
That's
Yeah,
okay. I'm just curious to know how she's doing.
Would Gordon Lightfoot mess her up?
Probably.
She says she's doing great. She's jumping around in some fields.
Really?
Just enjoying. Yeah, she's enjoying just freedom.
Excellent. So she's having fun with the tulips. I like that. Thank you.
Yes.
So now, what about do you believe in like ghosts and spirits with people?
Well, not so much unless they come in with the animal or there's specific something the person needs to tell me about the animal.
Well,
I tend to focus on the animal part.
Sure. So it's like some people believe, like my wife says she's in tune with spirits. Our house is it's an old house. It's built in 1831, almost 200 years old. And some of the previous owners have passed in the house because that's just how it went back in the 1800s, you know. And it's purported that they still hang out a little bit. So we still have visitors in the house. And I was never really in tune with that until my little buddy Kirby, and actually a long time ago you connected with Kirby back when we had you on years ago. But Kirby has since passed on. He was with me for 18 years.
I love Kirby.
And he was there with us at the new house for probably 2-3 years. And every once in a while, out of the corner of my eye, see a little something darting along.
Right?
I don't know. You know, is Kirby hanging out?
Absolutely. When sometimes they will come in and check in and just see how you're doing. And if they make themselves seen in that way, it's just to assure you they're fine.
All right. How does he feel that we have a replacement cat? We have it wasn't immediate. It wasn't like, oh, hey, all right, it wasn't the next day or anything. But good, like 8 months later, Colleen, my wife, had said, like, hey, we should you could use another cat in your life. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then next thing you know, we're at the rescue, and Percy was coming home with us. So. How does Kirby feel about Percy?
Let me ask. Hold on. Kirby says that's why sometimes He comes around. He comes to play with Percy.
Oh, because the dog won't. The dog just ignores her. That's probably true. It's because the dog wants nothing to do with the cat. So,
Frances, I'm looking at your website, and when you do a reading of some sort, people actually ask questions of their animal during these readings. Certain questions like, what can I do to get out of debt? Or, what do I need to do to lose weight? What are some of the responses that you receive from the animals that you're doing readings with?
Well, those aren't typical questions that the animals are asked.
hey, have you seen my keys?
However, on the losing weight one, generally speaking, I don't, of course, see people, but I will say, are you walking your dog? And if you are, how often and how far, for how long? Mm-hmm. And typically, the animal is not walked if the person may need to be walking themselves.
Gotcha.
So I offended one lady on the phone when I said, it would be good for both of you to walk.
Oops.
Are you saying no?
Nothing
Okay.
personal, but that's true.
Wow.
Hey, Frances. Okay, we're going to get real for a second here. All right. Have you ever been doing a reading and the pet, the dog or cat reveals that maybe the spouse of the person you're talking to is having an affair and the pet's witnessed something? Have you ever run into such a situation?
No, I haven't had that happen. However, the animal did share that the husband does like to look at women.
Oh, really?
On the interweb, yes.
Yes. Wow. All right. What about you don't see what the pets see, do you?
Sometimes.
Uh-oh.
So it comes to you. Does it come?
Forget Percy. Forget it, because he likes to watch me shower.
So does it usually come to you like that, like the perception of the pet, or in words, or how do you get the or can you describe how you get the information?
Well, sometimes it's words, and we have a conversation, and I write things down ahead of time, and then when we have our appointment, then I read our conversation, what I say, what they say, back and forth, from specific questions that the owner may have of the animal. So I'm answering questions they already have asked, plus, of course, during the reading, they can ask whatever they like.
Right.
Sometimes they'll show me a picture, and I'll, like, for example, when you asked how Fudge was doing, and she showed me a field and her jumping around. Mm-hmm. So it's a picture if they want to show me. One dog, they wanted to know why the dog was afraid of the groomer's husband. And the dog showed me a picture of a gentleman, and I said, he's very large and not steady on his feet. So the dog's afraid that he'll step on him. And he said, yeah, he doesn't walk real well, and he's a very heavy-set man. So I was describing what the dog was showing me.
All right, Frances Greenspan, how people can get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of your books, or if they want to reach out to you to have you reach out to their pets?
Well, they can go to my website, which is my name, franceswgreenspan.com.
Oh, there's a W in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
and,
franceswgreenspan.com. And how else?
The books are on Amazon.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So, Frances, we're going to have you back. We're going to get our friend Stacy in here with her bulldog. We'll have the bulldog put on a little pair of headphones so he can talk to you as well. And we'll have you back in to talk to our friend Stacy and get a read on her little bulldog buddy as well. We really appreciate you taking time and being with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Perfect. Have a great day.
Thanks, Frances.
Right. Thank you, Frances.
Be well. All right. So that's fun. That's
So, how do you feel about Fudge jumping around in the field?
You know, I can't wait to be doing the same thing with her. You know, throwing that stick, watching her run through. Yeah. I feel good. I feel good.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks, Francis.
So Ethan said our music was too old, so here's Killers, Can You Read My Mind? It was either that or Golden Lightfoot, if you could read my mind. And I was like, I think this would please Ethan a little more, a little Killers. All right, anyway. Everything's a soundbite or a movie, a song lyric or a movie clip for me. Oh, wow. But on the horizon here, up next, she'll be dialing in at any moment, straight out of the Shark Tank and into the fire. Obviously, just understandably, since Sunday, she was on the Shark Tank. Michelle Winowich was there and accepted an offer. On the Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful is the one guy. On the Shark. It was Mr. Wonderful. Yeah,
Wonderful
he's gotten behind a couple other pet products, but there was another one. There was like a double episode, and in the next episode, there was a pet product, and he was like, "Yeah, no, not so much." So he doesn't go after every pet product out there, but he has backed other pet products, and he's the one that came through for Michelle and Goat Pet Products. It's the acronym, right? What's the acronym stand for again?
The acronym is
GOAT.
Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time. There it is. Yeah. So, why is it called SHIELD? Because I think someone was trying really, really hard to fit the acronym. You know, it's like
we need to shorten
it's like GOAT. Yeah, we need to shorten it.
I just can't stop thinking of Muhammad Ali when I hear that.
Greatest of all time. I wonder if there's any connection to that, and I will ask Michelle as soon as she chimes in. And animaltalkradio.com will have links to Frances's website so you can get your pet psychic readings or follow her or check her out a little bit more. And there'll be links to Michelle and all her pet products that we come across. We'll put a link to Matt's pictures from high school of him and his dog.
I gotta find him first, yeah.
As well. Yeah. So that's embarrassing high school photos of Matt. We'll put those up there.
You're more than welcome to laugh at me.
Did you really get your pictures taken with your dog?
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I did. Yeah. Aww. Yeah, it was my Fudge.
We do a little, actually on the website, there's the pet parade. So people can send in a picture of them and their pet or just their pet. And it's like, this is Fluffy. Isn't he cool? And then we put it up on the website and we go, yeah, it is. So it's the pet parade. Just kind of showing off the pets that, present, past, whatever.
Even Honey Pot made me an
that's
an
it.
appearance there.
We got to get a picture of Honey Pot.
Yeah,
up there.
No, you don't.
Why on earth is your cat named Honey Pot?
Oh gosh, we rescued Honey Pot from from Flint, and the previous owners just tossed her out. They moved, left the house, blah blah blah. And we found her online. We did our research. We did our due diligence, and my wife was very good at that. So next thing we know, we're at the shelter and we're walking around, and I'm like, I need to find this Honey Pot because that's just the weirdest name for a cat.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm walking around and I see this cat and she's staring at me. She just catches my eye and she's watching me the entire time. And I walk up and I look at the top of the crate and it was Honey Pot.
Honey Pot.
She actually picked me and my wife out. We did not pick her out.
Oh, really?
So.
But she was on the list of pets to view when you went there.
On the list of pets, yes. And
Have you had a ridiculous name for any of your pets? I've had Kirby and Percy.
I had Schmendrick the magician.
Schmendrick?
Yeah,
Schmendrick
was a cat. Yeah.
And Hamish was a pretty cool name.
I had
for
a dog
cat.
named Pencilweed at one time.
Pencilweed.
Yep.
Why Pencilweed?
I can't remember now, but memory is just shot. And
you remember it was Pencilweed, but you have no idea why.
Yeah. Do you know what your spirit animal is, Jamie? And they're talking about non sequiturs. I mean, just spirit. And you've never had your spirit? I think we did this one time years ago on the show.
Yeah, no, I don't. Can you tell by looking at me what my spirit animal is?
I could guess, but I mean,
I would say
it has to be a mollusk of some kind or a cephalopod. I don't know.
I already know what mine is.
What is it?
It's a sloth.
Oh, sloth. There you are.
Well, you know mine, Jamie.
No, what is it?
A sea cucumber.
The sea I do. Yes, I knew that.
It's a majestic animal. Bothers no one. No natural enemies.
There's a Bitmoji with a sea cucumber, I think.
Yeah.
I think there is. It's an actual thing.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, Brian. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Going to the phone and saying hello to our guest.
Our guest today is you might have seen her on Shark Tank recently with a pet product. Goat Pet Products is her company. On the line we have Michelle Winowich. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, thank you. It's been quite a week. It's been full of excitement.
So we have a million questions for you. First of all, I'm doing a little background check on you, and it doesn't look like you're originally from the pet industry. And I'm wondering how you got into the pet industry. What made you think that you could just launch a product? Have you done that sort of thing before? Just what gave you the impetus to do this?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm not exactly sure where you're looking, but maybe LinkedIn or anywhere. But
I have my sources, Michelle.
I guess so. You've been even soliciting my neighbors, maybe. But definitely, I'm from the pet industry. But not every brand has been fully just pet. Like, for example, my experience is brand manager, national sales manager, in charge of launching new brands and bringing them out globally, and sometimes in a great way, sometimes in a huge way, and had a lot of success in that. How I got started, like your question, is one of my very first products, very first trade show was for the juvenile industry, like for kids. It was some kids' bowls that were shaped like footballs and some basketballs, things like that. And that did well, but then they switched the line to pet bowls. And that took me to my very first trade show, and it was a huge eye opener. That's a whole different industry.
Oh my gosh.
You're dealing with, pets are your fur babies. They're your family, and it's a whole different crowd. And I don't usually go to the direct to consumer shows. I go to the retail buyer shows, and I fell in love with it. I thought, oh my goodness, it's a huge industry. I mean, these trade shows, if you walk the whole show, it's 6 miles of walking.
Sure.
And it's a lot of competition out there. So you really got to stand out and do your thing. And I had to learn that the hard way by realizing you just can't stand there and wait for people to come to you. You got to make it happen.
Right.
So that's basically it. So yes and no. Yes, I have been involved in lots of pet products and launching, but some, it was like a secondary product line for them. It wasn't like their main product, or once they brought me on board, I launched their first pet product.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so the website is goatpetproducts.com. Now, the Shark Tank product that you had on, it's called the Goat Pet Speaker. So why don't you give us the elevator speech? What is the Goat Pet Speaker?
Absolutely. So GOAT, for all your sports fans out there, they know that it stands for greatest of all time, but some people scratch their heads and they think GOAT, like, people do have pet goats.
Sure. Yeah.
This could be used for a pet goat, but it's definitely for dogs and cats and your pet. This is giving you the tool to give your pet a voice. We've always done that in my house for years. I have 4 children. It's always been, Dad, talk like the dog. And my husband would talk a funny voice for our 100-pound Doberman when he walks in the room. And
is that Zeus?
It's always been our thing.
Is that Zeus, your dog? You would give the voice
That's
to?
Zeus.
Yes.
Yes.
All
So
right.
I think he's got some media attention lately because he's been forced to be my demo dog.
Yeah.
But, and he's actually a terrible dog. I love him, but he's well behaved. So when I demo the calming music playing on his collar and watching it work, it actually brings tears to my eyes, because I think if this works on Zeus, who is not a good dog, this could work on anybody, because he beats to his own drum, and he's afraid of the wind blowing or anything else. But anyways, the Goat Pet Speaker is a device that you put on your dog's collar. It has a built-in clip. It's shaped like either a dog or a cat or a bird, and it's super small, about the size of an egg, and it Bluetooth connects to our app, the Goat Pet Speaker app, and it gives you the tool to give your pet a voice. So it's giving a voice to the voiceless. And I usually use the example like a toddler that might not have full sentences yet or be speaking, but we know what they want to say, and us as parents will translate for them. Oh, they want a drink, or oh, they want this. So we're giving your pet the voice and the tools to do that. So by connecting to the app, you either type in what you want your dog to say, and under the pet profile, you can choose different languages. So let's say you have a French bulldog. Maybe they can speak French, or a German Shepherd could speak German, and it's just fun.
Right.
And you either type it in and select a language, or you can record your own fun voice. And that can be lots of fun. So maybe you're a young single guy, you see a cute girl, you don't necessarily want to walk over and say hi just yet, but your dog sure can. And maybe your dog might say, hey, my friend thinks you're cute.
The ultimate
or if it's your
wingman.
mother-in-law at the door, the dog might say, oh, no, it's you again. So you can definitely, it's endless because you're in charge. You can, greet their friends by name. You can also use it for training commands.
Mm-hmm.
Some adoption events, we'll put them on the dogs, and it'll be, please adopt me, or tell them about their history of why they should be adopted. So you can have a lot of fun with it. It also has a built-in selfie remote button, like a cordless selfie stick.
Oh.
So you can be in the picture with your best friend, and we all know social media is full of dog profiles. People talk for their pet all day long. They do full dialogues with everybody. And then it has its own personal calendar. You can track vet appointments or play dates or whatever. So the app has a lot of additional little features, but you don't even need the app if you're not a huge app lover.
Sure, yeah.
You can still stream incredible sounding music and use the selfie remote button.
Does it have to be
Bluetooth Connect?
Does it have to be paired with the phone to be making sounds, or is there an automatic mode at all?
So you do need to manually pair it. So what's super cool is it has some voice prompts built into the speaker. So when you turn it on, it'll say, "Goat speaker on, Bluetooth searching." So it talks you through the process.
Excellent.
And when you go into your settings under Bluetooth, you'll see it says Goat speaker after you turn it on. But you need to click on it. And the only reason why it doesn't automatically connect, because I don't want anybody to be surprised and they didn't know it was still on the dog's collar,
right.
And then all of a sudden they're like, what's going on?
So I couldn't just secretly put it on Jamie's back of his belt and just make fart noises?
100%. That's exactly what I had. When I designed this, I thought, this is for Jamie's butt.
Oh, my.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So I got to ask you about being kind of an armchair inventor myself. I got to ask you about the Shark Tank process. Is it real? Is there a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that people don't know about, or kind of give me an idea of the whole process? I mean,
what was the vetting process?
Yeah.
How did you get there? And you had about your segment was like probably 3.5 minutes. How much airtime did you have?
Okay, well, how much airtime do I have right now?
Yeah, we go all we'll go all. I know it's like that's why I was like I'm like this is like 3 or 4 interviews because we're really intrigued about the whole production aspect of it. So how did you get the vetting process and to the show? Let's just do that part first.
Okay, for sure. Now I have to do a little legal disclosure. You know that I'm kind of bound by 1,000-page agreement of what I can and cannot say.
Fair play.
But I can share, at least I hope I can, these parts. Number one is I applied by literally pulling an all-nighter and doing a bunch of work, and I really have always been a fan of the show, and I really take to heart their advice, and I really followed the numbers, percentages, profit margins. I make notes, and I make sense of it all. And I know that a lot of that's for TV because they have to do it quickly. You can't really evaluate a company on the fly like that. You need more information. So anyway, I did my homework, and one night I was online, and I'm doing more homework, and I stumbled across that you can apply online right on their website. Download the application here. And I'm like, oh, what the look, I'm going to download the application. Why not? And I did, and I filled it out, and it was in the beginning stages. I was still in the process of bringing it to life. And I filled out all the pages, and you have to keep in mind from the very first second of the process that this is about entertainment.
Sure.
This isn't necessarily about some fun gadget. You know, they like the gadget, but it needs to still be entertaining. So I kept that in mind. You know, like, what was my biggest accomplishment? I think one of my answers was that I can dock a ship while hooking a great white shark.
Okay.
I can be trapped in a pit of rattlesnakes while, you know, making tea. You know, like silly, ridiculous stuff. But you still have to be professional, obviously. But I still would throw in a little shock factor.
Sure.
And add some personality to it. Because I realized they're staring at a pile of 200,000 applications. You've got to get weeded out. And there's a huge weeding out process. So that was the first step. When I applied and I hit send, I kind of forgot about it. I applied in October, and then in March, so what's that, 6-7 months in March, I got a phone call late at night. It was like 9 o'clock because there was a time difference in California. And they said they were looking at my application, and from that second, it's got to be game on. You know, the person sounds like they're just there to find out a few questions, but they are vetting you. They're analyzing your every word. How are you going to be on TV? So I took it, I treated it like that, very seriously. And by the end of the conversation, she said, you know, we'd like you to submit a video. I hadn't even submitted a video at that point.
Wow, okay.
And, you know, God love them, but lots of people will stand in line for 3 days for some of these auditions and fly to New York or wherever the next one is.
Yeah.
And that's not I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. If anything, that's more promo stuff. Like, you know, I don't know. I definitely think go through the first steps. And I attached some pictures of my family because I think my 4 kids are so cute. You know, just some things that, you know, you would think that might just stand out.
Now, did you actually submit pictures did you submit pictures of yourself in the Snow White costume as you were going through the vetting process?
Snow White came to be about a week before I left.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was definitely not part of
that. That was later.
That was much later.
Okay.
And so anyway, so I submitted it, then they asked me for a video, and then that prompted another phone call. But I definitely recommend you don't wait for that phone call, because after I did get one phone call, and then I felt like too much time was passing. I think it was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I thought, what the hell? I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to call her back. And thank the good Lord I did, because when I did, someone else answered, and they said, oh, she's no longer there. Let me look it up. Oh, well, I actually didn't even have this one in my pile. I'm going to look at this again. If I wouldn't have called, I would have been completely overlooked.
Yeah, dead letter office
and
all of a sudden, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any organization, there's a change of guard sometimes.
Sure.
So, you really got to be your own advocate. It's not like, oh, they haven't called yet. Well, you do your own thing. You obviously don't harass them, but still, the little bit of context that you have at that level, just go for it. And then that prompted looking at my video, because they asked me to submit a video. I did a video, and I took that seriously too. I actually set up my whole entire trade show booth in my basement. I hired a camera guy that mic'd me and had good lighting, and I treated it like the biggest sales call of my life.
Oh yeah.
Not just like, hold up my selfie phone and, talk for a minute.
Right.
They need to see how you're going to contribute to their program.
Sure.
And so anyway, so I did that, and then there was more videos. There was a mountain of paperwork, and you have to be prepared to share your whole life. I mean, as far as like your personal credit report, everything about you. And I understand it, because one of the things that I usually do is I try to put myself in someone else's shoes. Well, why do they need to know my credit report? Why do they need to know where I went to high school and all these other crazy details about myself? And it's because, they're a huge network. They don't want to showcase somebody that maybe is a felon or, isn't just a great stand-up person.
Yeah.
So, so you got to respect the process, and the deadlines are tight. You got to keep the deadlines. You have to remember that they're not doing you you're not doing them a favor. They're doing you a favor.
Right.
So they can easily skip to the next person on the fly. But fast forward to Snow White. Well, first of all, back up. So even then, even though it's going great,
yes,
you don't know.
Right.
You just never know. And then once you get the congratulations, you've been selected, you still don't know if you're going to have a chance, because, there's tons of clauses, like anything could change, basically.
Right.
And then once I was given an actual date to fly out there, which was in September, even being there, you go and you rehearse the first day. And then you go back to your hotel room and you wait for a phone call to see if you're given a time slot to pitch in front of the Sharks. You could just be sent home.
Wow.
And I'm not a patient person.
Yeah.
I'm one that gets the answers that I need and figure it out. And, you're kind of helpless. And especially for me, because I rehearse horrible. Nobody could have rehearsed worse than me. I forgot every line. I had a dog with me. I was controlling voice files on my phone. I was screwing up everything. So when I went back to the hotel room that night, I thought, there's no way in hell I'm getting a phone call right now.
Right.
And when I got it, I was so thankful that they saw through all my errors and they were giving me a chance. But even though you get to pitch in front of the Sharks, you still don't know if they're going to air it.
Right.
Because they're going to film more people that can possibly be aired.
Sure.
And even if you get a deal, it doesn't mean you'll be aired because maybe someone that didn't get a deal was more entertaining than you.
Right. Okay.
And I found out I had an air date over Christmas break.
Oh, okay.
So that's even harder to prepare because they're like, well, make sure you have enough inventory on hand for the influx of orders. Well, that's not a lot of time. It's all a gamble.
Sure.
So it was definitely stressful. It definitely pushed me to limits that I've never been before. And you got to treat it like a job. This is like, you're pitching in front of 8 million people, basically.
Yeah.
And it's at the mercy of their editing team. And like your question was, how long were you there? I talked for 58 minutes, back and forth questions.
Wow.
So you got to see a 2-minute pitch and 6 minutes of Q&A. And
so you had 8 minutes?
I watched it Sunday night. What's that?
Was that 8 minutes that you had?
On air.
You know what? I didn't actually look at the timing. They just told me that it was going to be 8 minutes. So
it didn't seem like it was that.
Break and everything.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was that long, but maybe it was. Yeah, because it was on both sides of a commercial. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think. Well, I know my opening pitch was a solid 2 minutes.
Right.
And then, you go through the Q&A. So when I watched it Sunday night with my friends and family, I was equally surprised as you. You got the best editing team in the world piecing it together. And some great things that were said weren't necessarily aired. Some things that were said that I don't remember being said. Obviously they were. Sure. But it was, that was something else. I know I was called crazy, but one of the things that was not aired that I can share with you is Mr. Wonderful at one point did look at me and he said, Michelle, I don't know if you're the craziest person I've ever met or the most brilliant. And my response was, anyone that knows me is asking the same question. I don't have an answer for that. And, and I also talked about our charity partners, which I'm super thrilled to be a part of, Project Canine Hero, which also was Michigan-based. Yes. They support retired police and military dogs in the Eisenhower Center in Wisconsin, where our goat milk treats are made. Mm-hmm. They do all of our baking. They I can't even think of the word. They give jobs to people with disabilities. Right. So those things were important to me, and I was kind of bummed for them that it wasn't mentioned. But, they're overall, I thought it was great. We're definitely getting a great response. Here I am talking to you guys, so what's better than that? Right?
It's wonderful. Yeah, it's just amazing because you went in there and you wanted $499,000. And 9% interest, and it's a negotiation going in. What were you hoping for a takeaway? Can you tell us what you were hoping to get? Because you're going in knowing it's a negotiation, so I'm sure you figured it would be all right. It's probably going to be more than 9%. What were you hoping for?
Well, obviously, asking the Sharks for something like that is risky because they're going to attack you.
Sure.
Like, what, you're crazy asking for so much money with such low percent. But I had already landed a $2 million purchase order. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what? This is why people go to Shark Tank. And here I am sharing it. So I thought, well, what the hell? I'm just going to go for it. Mm-hmm. But which isn't me doing a spoiler right now because you can look it up. It's all over the blog. Different shows that I've talked to that Cuban has also been on. He's shared this information already. Is that 80% of the deals actually don't even go through after the Shark Tank.
Oh, wow.
It's a handshake deal.
Really?
It's not a game show where you walk away with a check.
Right.
And it's bottom line, it's TV. So there's still a huge business aspect of it. There's a due diligence phase, you get to enter some negotiations after the fact. And that is, I already knew that. So I don't understand why anybody doesn't just say yes.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can't play with the money. Once you can change the money amount that you're going to ask for a second before it comes out of your mouth. But the second it comes out of your mouth, the sharks can't negotiate money. And if you take note, you'll realize the money factor never changes. It can go up. It can't go down.
Okay.
You can only play with the percentages.
Okay.
So I thought, I'm going to start at 9.
Sure.
Because I know it's going up.
Yeah.
And it definitely went up. I mean, it went up to a third. But, and some people say, oh, well, you already had an investor that was 50%. So now you're only 17% owner. And that's not how it works.
Sure.
You split the equity, between everybody. So everybody's a third partner. It's not, and there's still time to negotiate that too. So
Nice.
There's a ton to share, but, I'm a little limited on,
Yeah.
the behind the scenes.
So how involved will Mr. Wonderful be? Will he say, "Oh, you need to change the name of that from goat. Goat is confusing. You gotta just
No.
dog."
You mean Robert?
Pet. Yeah.
Robert's the partner.
Okay. So, Mr. Wonder. I thought Mr. Wonderful was the one that took you up on it.
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
No, Robert.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
all right.
That's right. No, that's okay.
Fair
I
play.
want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. So Robert, and he's backed a couple other pet products, so that boded well for you. So how involved is Robert going to be in? Is he just an investor, or is he going to be an advisor? How is that unfolding for you?
Well, it's unfolding, and obviously it's still in the works. So I'm extremely limited right there.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's huge. If you go on Robert's Twitter or Instagram, you can see that I'm being promoted like crazy.
See, well, there you go.
Which is enormous. I mean, who doesn't want that?
And that's got to be worth a good chunk of that 30%. Yeah.
Oh gosh, heck yeah!
Yeah.
I mean, that's enormous brand recognition.
Yeah.
So, but you just, to me, it's what you make of it. It's how you push it and what you do with it after the fact. Like me talking to you or, just promoting the recognition that we've gotten doesn't necessarily mean everybody has seen it.
Right.
And it's hard to judge the outcome right after the airing because this day and age, everybody DVRs everything.
Yeah.
And that's what they talk about. You really need to give it a full month for everybody to actually watch the episode.
Oh, okay. All right, so you'll need more as the days unfold.
Nobody wants to tolerate commercials.
Sure.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so as the days unfold, you're getting more and more, viewers. That's that's interesting. I didn't even think about that because I'm old school. Back Detroit girl, right? It's 2, 4, 7, 50, and 20. That was it. 56 if you wanted to watch Sesame Street. That's all we had. You watched it. You watched it while I was live. That was it. But yeah, today's a different.
Commercials were just a part of it. That's how you got your snack, or you took a break from watching your show. But nowadays, there's zero tolerance for commercials.
Yeah.
So people will record it just so they don't have to watch it like that. So it's hard. It's really hard to judge. Especially, we have the PetSmart deal. So a lot of the orders will go straight to them. And that's pretty much what I was doing, was driving sales for PetSmart, even though, I'd love for people to order for me too.
Okay, Michelle, thank you so much. What a great insight as to the whole process. One thing that's clear, Michelle, when you're telling us about this, even before you mentioned it, you always have to think about what the other person in a negotiation. What's the other person need, or what does the other person want? Right out of the gate, you said that this is about entertainment. Sure, this is your invention, this is your product, but really, you have to be entertaining because it's a TV show, and because you were able to look at it that way, you were very entertaining. You're very, very smart when it comes to this sort of thing. I'm sure you'll do real well with this. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah,
and
we got to have you back to talk about the gluten-free dog biscuits.
Oh heck yeah! Goat milk dog treats made by the awesome folks at the Eisenhower Center in Wisconsin. It's for a great cause. A portion of the sales go to them. So absolutely, I would love to be
So
back.
were the
Thank you so much for having me.
were the treats part of the deal? Is that part of the promotion too, or are those two separate lines?
It is, and actually that was a good portion of the segment. I actually passed out samples the second time of the treats. Some of the sharks even tried the treats.
Oh wow,
really? They're so yummy. They're human grade. They're peanut butter. But yeah, unfortunately they didn't get to see it that much. And Axel from Project Canine Hero, his dog handler, Amanda, she's a gorgeous 6-foot blonde, but she was in front of that sign, so you didn't necessarily get to see the goat milk treat sign either. But they were definitely there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, for our listeners, Michelle was supposed to be in studio, and I don't know about you guys, but I feel really silly
that we dress
that
like
we all dress like the seven dwarfs. Well, yeah. I'm dressed like Snow White, but I'm short, so I look look dwarfish.
Matt and I dress like dwarfs just for the occasion. And
the pointy hat.
Oh, that's awesome! And I have my dress on right now. I mean, Snow White always talked to animals, but they never had the ability to talk back.
That's right.
So now she just needed the Goat Pet Speaker app. I just need to get her one.
All right, so they're available. Where are the Goat Pet Speakers available? They're at PetSmart, you said?
You can check them out. Yep, they're at PetSmart at the first register and at the end of the aisle. We're in 2 placements in every PetSmart in every state, 71 in Canada. And also you can learn more on my website. I got some instructional videos. You can learn all about us at goatpetproducts.com or goatspeaker.com.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you, Michelle.
We'll keep an eye on the website, and we'll keep an eye on you, and we're going to have you back to talk more about those treats.
Awesome. You guys rock. Thank you so much.
All right. Be well.
Michelle.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. There it is. So that amazing. It's like it is entertainment.
Smart cookie. You know, they say that these venture capitalists they always invest in people, really, not so much the product. And very, very sharp
Well
lady.
spoken. Yes.
Yeah, man, that's just 80% of those deals don't go through.
Yeah, that was shocking.
That was shocking.
Yeah. But she said it's not a surprise. I mean, if you look at the website, that it says that. So
I'm not surprised that they pull credit reports just because they want to make sure that the person's credit worthy who they're working with.
Well,
I wouldn't trust you, Matt. I would not.
You shouldn't.
The shifty eyes, the
suit and tie.
and what is in that violin case that you always bring? You never set it down.
Oh, just smack me again.
the Harvey Weinstein wine opener.
Hey,
He's out there pitching it. They turned him down. So too soon? What is it? All right.
No.
Come on, man.
We're here already.
It's time for the bad animal joke of the week.
All right. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Jamie.
What has 4 legs and goes om?
I don't know. What has 4 legs and goes om?
A cow walking backwards.
Oh my God.
I just can't help myself sometimes, Brian. It's,
I wish you could.
I think you're kind of beyond help at this point.
That's gonna do it. Wow, that flew by. So
It did.
Yeah.
2 really good interviews.
Yeah, some fun stuff today. So we'll be back again next time. Catherine Schwarzenegger.
Catherine Schwarzenegger,
Yeah, and she's just an animal lover and in the Kennedy line. So we're going to talk to her about all her stuff.
Yeah.
And then about wolf dogs, Nicole Wild. Nicole Wild, who is canine behaviorist. So that's coming up next time on Animal Talk. AnimalTalkRadio.com is the place to find us throughout the week. And bye.